what's going on, everybody? This is Long Hauler, or Justin, bringing you a couple different things today. This first clip is just a great start that I had on a team deathmatch on grid. You'll see I get a 4-man nade and end up with 10 kills pretty quick, but I'm not going to talk too much about it. You'll see my favorite spot to run in the beginning of a team deathmatch on grid, and here's the reason why. The second thing that I'll be showing you is a free-for-all on grid, using my same setup that I'm always using, the Silence Dog and the Spy Plane, Blackbird, and Dogs. But I'm not really going to talk at all about these two gameplays. You guys have seen this enough, and basically they're just backdrops for something that I wanted to talk about. My last video, I asked you guys if you wanted me to talk about fighting or certain things to think about when choosing a college, and the overwhelming majority was fighting. However, I'm going to have to save that for another time. Something happened today that really pissed me off. Honestly, for me to get pissed off about something, especially over Twitter, takes a lot, but for some reason this just got under my skin, and I don't want this to turn into me flaming this particular person, or you guys thinking that I'm saying that he is a bad person as a whole, but it's something that I want to discuss. And I got an idea for a series. I don't know how long it lasts. I mean, I've said I want to start a bunch of series before, and people don't seem to have as much enthusiasm as I do, so they kind of fizzle out. But there's a local radio station, and it's basically a talk radio station, news radio station, and on certain days they have this thing called Core Values, and this guy comes on and he takes a topic that's in the news and blah 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 and tells his pretty much neutral opinion. That's, I think, the basis of what this is, and then at the end wraps it up with his final thoughts. So I want to start that on my channel, and I apologize if I'm completely ripping this off of this guy, but whatever. This is going to be called Long Hauler's Core Values. So today on Twitter, I was just fucking around like I usually am at work, and then one popped up from X-Jaws, and yes, I will call out X-Jaws because this is one of the most ridiculous statements that I've ever heard coming out of anybody's mouth. And I don't know anything about X-Jaws except for what he specifically leads on in our videos. I can only assume he's very, normally educated. He's very well spoken and seems very intelligent, except for something that he said today on Twitter. And I can't quote it exactly because he has since taken it down. But the basis of his comment was that certain people's votes should hold more weight than other people. And his initial comment was based on IQ. And I'll stop and let you guys think about that for a little bit. Someone actually thinks that based on IQ, your vote should be more weighted than someone else. And I'm not going to sit here and say that he's specifically saying that his vote should count more. The implication was certainly there because he followed that up with he has an IQ of 143. But here's my argument, right? You've got a lot of really, really, really bad people in this world that are very, very, very smart, okay? You've got serial killers that have like superior genius IQs, and based on what he was saying, the serial killer's vote should count more than maybe, a cop or a fireman or an ambulance or someone in our military. And I'm not saying that you guys are dumb if you're in the military or a cop or anything like that. I'm just saying that there are going to be certain occasions where there's going to be someone in any job that has a lower IQ than some specific serial killers. And factor also in the fact that the IQ test is a completely flawed standardization test. I mean, they're created, but they don't take certain factors into account, and I'm not going to specifically get into them, but it's just a number. I mean, what does that mean? If you can do really well in an IQ test, does that all of a sudden make you more valuable to society? No, hell no. And then, later on, he asked for Hutch's opinion, and Hutch was basically on my side and said kind of the same things. But, what he's saying, and one of his arguments is a bigot should have less authority, I guess, or have their vote count less than someone who is a level-headed kind of critical thinker. So how do you define a critical thinker? How do you concretely put that into writing so someone's vote can count more? I mean, come on, Jaws. That's absolutely ridiculous. And, I apologize if I'm coming off a little harsh, but, your argument of a bigot is almost completely hypocritical. I mean, by definition, a bigot is a person who is intolerantly devoted to his or her own opinions and prejudices. I mean, isn't saying that people should have less value in their voting, isn't that kind of being a bigot yourself? I mean, it's very hypocritical for you to turn around and say that. And then he turned around and retweeted something from one of his followers saying that comments like mine and Hutch's were just PC bullshit, and that's basically he supported 100% what Jaws was saying, and that the KKK, for example, shouldn't deserve a vote. And let's get it completely out in the open and 100% clear. I'm in no way supporting the KKK or what they stand for. But what Jaws is saying is the exact reason that the KKK stood up in the first place. They thought that they were better than other people. They thought that their beliefs were right and others were wrong. And they thought that their particular race was superior. And I'm not saying that Jaws is saying those exact things, but the implication of what you're saying is that some people are better than others based on religion, race, ethnicity, whatever it may be. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And last time I checked, the Constitution defines all Americans as equal. I mean, all men are created equal. Is that not a direct quote from the government papers? I mean, if you want to sit there and say all men are created equal and that everyone has to abide by the same laws, but when it comes to possibly changing those laws or defining those laws, all men aren't created equal. I mean, you can't just pick and choose when to follow some things and when not to. I mean, what you're saying is that you want to create a complete division between the quote unquote superior and inferior people. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And I'm absolutely appalled that this is actually, something that you believe in, to a point where you said that you had gotten into a discussion in front of the class with your teacher about it. And I'm not sitting here, and I understand that what I normally say is you have to respect everyone's opinion, and I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion if you can follow it up with some substantial arguments and some proof as to how or what you are saying can actually benefit society. And by the way, democracy was set up so everyone had a voice, had the ability to make a change. And for you to think that some people, and whether or not you included yourself in this group, for you to think that some people should be able to affect the change more than other people is very elitist. I mean, I'm not sitting here trying to flame you and to bash you, and from what I hear in your videos, you're a good guy and anything like that, and I respect you and your channel and what you do, but this I can't respect at all. And you probably won't see this or respond if you do, but if you'd like to have a civil discussion about it, I'd be more than happy to listen to your side of the story. I'm not going to force my opinion on yours. So, but I mean, basically wrapping up, knowing when to recognize that everyone has an equal chance to affect change, no matter their class status, their intelligence, their monetary value, or anything else differing from yourself, is an absolute core value. You know what? I'm done here.